Hey, how's everybody doing there? I'm Tom Nyback. This is 365 days towards racial change, day 262 going down, putting this in the bucket, so they say, I think in Hollywood, in the can, in the bucket. I'm nursing a cold, so be thankful you're on the other side of that screen. It's appropriate. Everybody's carrying something around this time of year. It's fall. If I was back in my home state, this would this would most likely turn into bronchitis, even into pneumonia, of which I died from. I mean, I almost died from at one point. Um, so how you doing? What is new with you and race in America? I tell you, glad I'm sober, alive. I'm watching CNN, and that this country is just broken, systemically broken, and the problem is that blacks are not a huge priority to begin with. As far as inclusion, equality, economic participation, things like that, competitiveness, and when we're fixing all of these uh, seemingly more important structures, then black issues get pushed aside, or they're rolled out as token issues. We've got Saudi Arabia recovering from precision bombings there in the Middle East. Remember, I told you, said a couple days ago, Israel is fortunate. Nobody likes Israel. Israel's surrounded on a piece of land about as big as New Jersey, but they can't come together. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Syria, things like that. Therefore, they can't come together. And of course, the displaced Palestinians within that space. A lot of groups with interest there, but they can't coordinate it because they don't like each other. It's a crazy world we live in. You know, Not much makes any serious sense. But anyway, you got bombings, Saudi Arabia, oil. Oh, that oil. Can't wait till the stuff runs out. Then we're going to see a whole different world. Uh, we got some kind of kangaroo court going on on CNN. People can come and tell Congress no. They ain't answering questions. There's all kinds of legalese, justifications, and all that. But wow, you think um, Congress and these committees have power? You know, they can um, call for contempt, but they don't, and all this crazy politics. Anyway, long story short is black success and consistent participation in the land that's characterized in the same way that other groups in America participate is a long way off, and we're going to have to do it on our own. We're not going to get any help. Every time it seems like we get some daylight and some issues come up, there's bombings, mass shootings, uh, kangaroo courts, uh, POTUS says tweets something stupid. Black mind needs to get really serious and needs to focus on what it wants out of this uh, out of this predicament that it is in. A lot of work needs to be done. Flip side, the white minds. You know, I mean, well, what are y'all doing? It's one thing I wonder. You just keep going from chaos to chaos to chaos, drama to drama. You know, um, we got the world thinking that you people really have it together, are really on point, but really failing lately. Not big, presenting a unified America, um, and it's very sad. So we'll get this year here, a racial change, out of the way and see where we go from there. But you know, as I've continued this project, I see some of there's some of the marks that we'd like to hit that just are apparently impossible. The way the world and people are configured. Very sad. Get your financial literacy together. You never know when the bottom might drop out, or you might stumble on a way to get your money to work for you. What I tell people, well, here anyway, is to behave, act like you're going to live forever, and you need your money to be working hard for you, like an army of people in your old age into perpetuity. Get your financial literacy together. Understand money, finances, how your finances best serve you, how to hold on to more of what you earn. All right, I'm inspired to do this work by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. Read 3 of his works. We've been in this book, A Black History Reader. We're on page 158 today, just skipping over more immigration stuff. At this point in the year, a lot of stuff is becoming redundant, and we're just fine-tuning and focusing, getting very myopic on some of these issues. So, yes, immigration again in relation to black leadership. We got a good dovetail going on there right now. Dr. Anderson also wrote a nice book, Black Labor, White Wealth, and Dr. Anderson's national plan to empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson on powernomics.com and here on YouTube. Easy to find. Dr. Claude Anderson. Behind me, you see the hashtag #us2 symbol. Black women support one another, have their conversation there. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, kind of a Black Facebook experience. If you can't find your flavor or voice here on the World Wide Web, do what I did. Start your own and see where it goes. I got this little collection. I'll be managing these people after I get this year out of the way. I can't do much. I got some stuff coming up next month, and the project has overlapped with my schooling, so I'm very busy right now. Hard to stay motivated, a procrastinator like me. And finally, we'll get back into this. I think next week we need to get back into this. We're almost finished this, and I want to make sure I finish this, and then we'll take our time, especially through the last chapter of this book. Get this book is very important. Fictional account of slave masters, slave life in America, Uncle Tom's Cabin. I just really, it's an eye opener to if you walk through that book. Okay, like I said, today we're in a Black History Reader. Question 52. The question is: prior to the 60s civil rights movement, what was the stance of black leaders on immigration policies? And we've been talking about leaders, whether they are tokenized, engaging in the symbolism. Are they really interested in giving a voice to black people for inclusion? participation in America's socioeconomic structure. So we talked about that. So let's go prior to the 60s and look at immigration. I'll tell you, before we get kind of into the meat of this, if you've been hanging around for the year and watched, some videos, me, Dr. Anderson, and myself we're very critical on this issue of immigration, because immigration, it's a process, it's a kind of attrition engaged against focused at black people. You know, when slavery ended, the whites didn't tend to hire uh, black folks, give them a living wage for the skills they already had. No, they sold overseas, and they're starting to pay people, white folks, for this labor and stuff. Very, very, very sad. We're going to talk about some of that, but immigration, it forces us out. It dilutes our message. It dilutes the resources we're reaching out for. Um, and blacks are already, we're a non-preferred group in America, and it's just very sad that we're fighting elbow. If you remember, sometimes I tell the story about I was at a Living Color concert, and that was a concert I felt like being right up front at the barricade, which was a mistake because I blew out my hearing for a long time. It was like I was underwater. But anyway, I was up at the barrier, and there was a guy there he wanted to be at the barrier too, but we were locked in. But all concert long, he was inching his way into the barrier, and he was just determined, and focused. And by the end of the concert, he was right there, shoulder to shoulder, with me and another dude that were trying to edge him out. Oh, so sad, so sad. But that's this immigration thing, you know. This we're crowded in, and we're trying to reaching out for the same set of resources. Um, but black folks were overwhelmed by numbers, organization structure, I think accountability. You'll find these other groups, immigrants coming in, maybe not so much English speaking, but most other groups have a language, have a flag, have a culture, these things like that. So it's very challenging for us. Um, so on that note, our black leaders kind of before the 60s were like, hey, we're against this. And, Ellis Island and all that stuff, they weren't shipping in black folks. You ship in black folks to be slaves and free labor and stuff like that. But after emancipation and all that stuff, uh, we don't need any more black folks. The country is built up, and now we're ready to accept more Europeans to come through here and whatnot. Uh, so the black leaders, wisely expressed some resistance to that. We're a trained labor force. We're right here, But we know that story, right? To get paid a living wage, to look eye to eye with white folks, compete, things like that. White folks didn't want that. We were also hindered in education socially as well too. The slave wasn't in America wasn't an equal participant in what was going on in the land by any degree, So we were hindered there. So a lot of stuff like the creation of the Constitution and all that stuff, all those higher structures had their committees and meetings and stuff like that. We had black folks had no idea what was going on anyway. I just noticed their uh, the community is suddenly so white, and they're being forced out, of jobs, places to live, and all that. So they initially got, hey, let's oppose this, which was the right thing to do. Um, and I'm sure it had to be hard too. I see it today. I see it on my job. My job is a microcosm of slavery. I'll tell you, you know, but it's serving a purpose right now, and so it's working on my character. But when you see lighter skinned people get positions that darker skinned people are reaching for, have the same, if not better, qualifications. You see the younger and the lighter people getting it. That's the way it goes, right? Uh, so there, so you have some pushback from black leadership. Of course, they don't have any power, so you can't do much anyway. You can talk. The white folks back then didn't care about talk. Talk didn't change anything. Talk didn't secure more money, finances, things like that uh, for black folks. It was just talk and resistance and whatnot. Symbols. Um, America chose to get, they had a labor shortage, which they didn't really have a labor shortage. They just didn't want to pay black folks. You know. So they opened up, uh, New York Harbor and all this stuff, and just wave upon wave of immigrants just flooding our shores, easing out black folks. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, pleaded with white businesses to get us, but we got pigeonholed to the service sector and menial jobs, dig a ditch here and there, cleaning, porters, right? None of that skilled stuff. Even though we had that resource, we've got names of men involved in organizing the Capitol, building buildings, stuff like that. Remember Uncle Tom's Cabin, the young slave used his mind to improve white business. So the resource was there. Just the white establishment, white power, did not want to help, did not want to participate in um, doing right by black people and seeing black people come into a position where they can compete uh, and really get some ownership and control in the land. And that's the thing about like civil rights, social integration, some of those symbols is that you're still not securing what you're really after. You know, you want some jingle, land, some control somewhere in America. Not so with these symbols. We need concrete initiatives. Uh, white folks, the white establishment has been stringing black folks along for ages. All that, you know, that they'll go in some back room and come out with some legislation or something, whatnot, and black folks seem to be so easily placated when they feel the system, the organization is working hard for them, when it's really not. The black skin is it's a liability in overall in America's regime. Uh, so Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois, and other black leaders, still true today. I see it in my workplace. And then you can't prove it and all this stuff. It's a it's a tangled mess, this whole racism issue. Around the 50s, the black leaders okay, let's maybe get on board with immigration. Let's be buddies and be altruistic, supportive. Maybe that'll help us if we try a little harder, give a little more support, uh, show up, participate in ways that they let us do. Blacks tried that, yeah, got run over. I used to listen to a lot of religious radio, and I'll never forget this woman's story about her daughter. And her daughter would be out in the back yard, fenced off, and she'd see the boys that are a little bit older playing in the field, kickball, balls and stuff, And her daughter wanted to just be a part of that, just because it looked like so much fun and all that stuff. So one day, her daughter goes in the freezer and gets these popsicles. I guess one for each guy out there. And she doesn't say a word. She just goes to the fence and holds up these treats. Eventually, the guys, see what's going on. They see these treats in the little girl's hand. They come over, take the treats, get chow down, and go right back to playing. No sense of checking in with the little girl, this precious one that just gave them some treats in the middle of their play. They just took their treats, took her support, took her energy, desire, her will, and went back and continued playing their own little games. Well, the same illustration is going on with immigration. You don't see. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen any immigrant group embrace the black people that have already been here, struggling and toiling for hundreds of years, come through slavery, marginalized, and all that stuff. I don't see any group collectively, visibly. There's good people there, very good people, Hispanics, Arabs, Chinese stuff. Yeah, of course. You know, but you don't see no national movement or sensitivity towards the black group that's here trying to find its way and stuff like that. I'm not familiar with any group, immigrant group in America, toiling to embrace the black populace that's already here. That's non-existent. In the 50s, our black leaders said, well, maybe if we support them, it'll turn around. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to support them. And of course, they'll reciprocate. and we'll come together as a big unit, and the government, and things will really start going forward. Hey, it's the year 2019. I don't see that happening at all, right? Not unless it's a group coming in to supply jobs, to enslave, to get into the capitalist American mode toward black folks. Otherwise, uh, it's not a whole lot of interaction, participation, willingness to, excuse me, embrace black folks. So then now we've done gave our support, well, expecting something in return, but that didn't happen. You know, so we see the fortunate thing about this. If black leadership ever just got down and stopped trying to be political and said, you know what, I'm going to be the one to put my foot down for black folk exclusively. I don't care if this buries me, that this is political suicide, whatever. It's time to have a black agenda, and without any conversation about immigration. And again, to the point is, it's good news because now black leadership has tried both. We tried both ways. It didn't work. We didn't come out better, more competitive by resisting the immigration. We didn't come out better and more competitive by embracing immigration and supporting the immigration agenda. Now that we know that both, the binary doesn't work either side, as far as immigration goes, we should focus and let the chips fall where they may. Right? The chips haven't fallen for us. You've heard this from me many times. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Look, the chips have not fallen for us, and especially I love the times where black people try both ways. That is really obvious. Chips didn't fall in our favor. Resisting immigration, chips didn't fall in our favor. Embracing immigration, so we can forget both of those, and we can do our own thing. It's okay. The immigrants are going to be just fine. Just fine. Listen, I don't want to ramble, but that's a little snapshot there. Black leadership before the 60s, Where do we go from here? I wonder. That's day 262 out of the way, in the can. I'm Thomas Nyback. Listen, come back tomorrow. Let's see what tomorrow's topic will be. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome, new subscribers. Bye-bye.